Hello everybody, welcome to another Foosh video review. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars 6-inch Black Series Clone Trooper figure. And let's get a shot of him back with his packaging. I mean, it's standard Star Wars Black Series fare. It looks exactly like every other Black Series packaging. And on the back it says, "Clone troopers are genetically engineered super soldiers who are deployed into combat for the first time on Geonosis, where they battle the Separatists' droid army." So, the Clone Trooper is, of course, from the prequel trilogy. Not my preferred Star Wars trilogy, of course. Now, this is I guess, testament to Hasbro and Gentle Giant's, I guess, the efforts they put into these figures. Because I had no intention of picking up the Clone Trooper or Anakin Skywalker, and here I am with both of them. I didn't pre-order them, had no interest in them. Then on one trip to Target in search of kitty litter, I happened to find the Clone Trooper Anakin on the pegs. They went in the basket, and I took them home. And I'm really pleased I did that, especially with the Clone Trooper here. I really like the way the Clone Trooper looks. He'll fit in my display as a kind of an elite Stormtrooper. Let's just get a look at the Clone and the Stormtrooper side by side here. And I think they look really cool together. I really dig that. I really like it a lot. I mean, I've always been kind of indifferent toward the Clone design. I never hated it, but I never particularly liked it either. I think the Stormtrooper is the more interesting of the two, but I dig the Clone. As a standalone, as a one-off figure in my collection, I can get into it. Now, let's get a look at this guy from all sides here. I mean, he's supposed to be a precursor to the Stormtrooper, so there's a lot of design similarities. But they're not exact replicas of one another either. Now, I gotta point out here right off the bat just how loose and floppy my figure is. I pick him up and I do this, he just shakes right from this mid-torso joint here. His hips, his knees, his ankles, everything is just kind of on the loose side. I'm not having any trouble standing him, obviously, but I'm not thrilled with how kind of loose he is. I know a lot of people complained about the Stormtroopers and their Obi-Wan Kenobis being loose in some places, but I didn't have that experience with mine. My Obi-Wan and my Stormtroopers are all awesome. They're nice and tight, they're not floppy, but this is my first experience with a floppy Black Series figure. So, oh well, I guess I'll get over it. Now for accessories, he comes with this smaller rifle here that looks a lot like the traditional Stormtrooper rifle. And then he's got this really honkin' big rifle here that I don't think I'm ever going to pose him with. It's just so huge, and I just much prefer the smaller gun. I wish there was some way to sling this over his back, but there really isn't. There's nowhere to plug it in or anything either. So in the extra bag, the extra junk bag, it goes. I mean, not that it's a bad weapon or anything, it's just a little too big for my tastes. So let's get a look at this guy's articulation then. His head, range of motion in his head, he can look down pretty well, but he can't really look up. And he can look side to side, so that's about that. I like the way they did his shoulder joints here, because at first I thought these shoulder pads were going to be way in the way, but they are totally not. They fit right inside the torso armor. And he's got a decent range of motion all the way up and around. His elbows, he has double jointed elbows, but the pad here does hinder a little bit. That's the best he can do. I mean, it's just about 90 degrees, but not exactly, not perfectly. And his wrists, they swivel, and, well, on one of them there's a hinge. I don't think there's a hinge on this one. No, I don't see. Actually, yeah, there is. It's one of those. Well, it doesn't look like mine's going to do it. Mine might be a little stuck here. It's the first time I'm trying to move it. But it's supposed to do something like this, kind of like what Han Solo has. This wrist will swivel, and the hinge works well. But that one, I'm not going to force it because I don't need a Clone Trooper with a broken hand. After the Game of Thrones debacle, I'm shying away from broken figures. Okay, so his torso articulation, works pretty well too, swivels and functions as an ab crunch. Armor doesn't really get in the way of his hip articulation. He can sit down, and he's got double jointed knees, and his ankles, like all Black Series, are those new style rocker ankles. Okay. As far as paint goes, there's not a whole lot of paint on this guy. Most of him is just either molded white or black plastic. But what paint there is, I mean, it's a little, I don't know, it's a little iffy. Like, let me see if I can get a close-up here of his knee. Not to make it sound like his knee's a big concern here, but you can see the scrapes where the black is coming through, and that's the case with his feet a little bit too. Otherwise, the paint is pretty clean. Let's get a close-up on that face too. I haven't done that yet. It looks good. It looks, somehow the clone troopers' faces, their helmets look even colder than the stormtroopers. I guess that's kind of cool. I guess some further comparison shots here that have nothing to do with the prequels. Here's Bespin Luke and the clone trooper posed together, and the clone trooper does tower over Luke. Luke is the small fry runt shrimp of the Star Wars family, as he should be. Now let's get him side by side with his wave mate, Anakin. The two figures I did not want from the Black Series line, but I ended up getting anyway. Darn you, Gentle Giant and Hasbro. So, both of these guys are shipping to stores right now. Again, I found mine at Target, so they should be hitting all major retailers that carry the Black Series soon. They were up for pre-order on Amazon for a while, and it looks like they're shipping in cases with a Stormtrooper and Boba Fett. That's my impression, and I think I read that online somewhere. And I've seen these guys in the stores twice now, and if that is the case, pack out. And both times it was only Boba Fett that was missing. Funny enough, I guess there's still huge demand for Boba Fett. But the Stormtrooper was there, the Clone Trooper and Anakin, both times were all just sitting on the pegs. So I grabbed these two. And I am glad I did. Again, the prequels aren't my cup of tea, but I know the prequels do have their fans, and the people who are fans of the prequels are stoked to be getting these figures, and I'm happy everybody's getting something they want out of the Black Series. That's testament to a good line. It doesn't have to cater to just one specific group, one specific people's preference. So I like seeing the diversity, and I like being I like buying figures or wanting to buy figures that I didn't think I wanted, and these two definitely fit that bill. Never in a million years did I think I'd have an Anakin Skywalker from the prequels, but here he is. And here he is with the Clone Trooper, who is just going to be a Stormtrooper on my shelves. So I'm still kind of gaming the system to my own effects, or my own ends a little bit. So that is the Black Series Clone Trooper. Let us know what you think by leaving a comment below. Subscribe to the Fooch channel if you haven't already. And once again, thank you for checking us out, and we'll see you next time.